Welcome to Church 3.0, presented by Apollos, a podcast where we explore the nuances of modern Christian culture and the challenges of cultivating community while maintaining impact and relevance in the church. Join Tyler Vance, COO of Apollos, as he talks to church leaders from around the world to gain a deeper understanding of the Christian faith in a modern context. Push boundaries, change lives, create a more hopeful future.
Hey, welcome today. My name is Tyler Vance with Apollos, and I have Jason Jones from Cedar Creek. We're going to get to hang out with him. He's going to share some of the unique ways that they're using Apollos to grow their church, not just for Sundays, but every day. And at Apollos, we say we want to do church 7 days, not just Sundays. And so thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Wait, tell me about Cedar Creek and what do you feel like God is doing really uniquely as you guys are using Apollos?
Yeah, I think one of the most creative things that we're doing with Apollos is our entire team is leaning in.
Yeah.
So everybody is consistently engaged in thinking about new ways to use the app. Our entire staff team is leaning into ways that they can ingest content into the app, and ways that their attendees and people that they're serving can pull content out of the app. So it's not just something that the communications team is pushing out. It's not something that our IT team is pushing out, but it's really something that's become part of ministry here with our staff team.
That's cool. What's been like a crazy, surprising thing that has happened? Like you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe God did that. And Apollos was a part of it at Cedar Creek.
Prayer, for sure. I don't think we realized how big of an investment the prayer feature in the app would be in our church. We'd heard about prayer, and churches are like, yep, this becomes part of every day. You talked about like Apollos wants to be a platform that's being used 7 days of the week. But the way people just immediately jumped into submitting prayer requests was something that was surprising to our team, but also the way that people are praying for other prayers. We heard a story we've been on for about 8 or 9 months now with Apollos, and we heard a story come from one of our campuses a couple months ago that someone wanted to go through Growth Track and join the Dream Team because they realized how passionate they were about praying for other people because they were praying for people in the app. And they're like, I want to be on that serving team. And it's like, that's not even why we launched. That's cool. So that's been something that's been really surprising.
Cool. What do you feel like has been a big learning curve for your staff? Or like something you have to like rethink the way you guys do ministry?
Yeah, I think data-driven results. Like, how are we making data-driven decisions?
Yeah.
We now have the data, which is one of the reasons we really made the push toward Apollos, is because the data is available to us. What do we do with the data now? That's been probably one of the biggest, not struggles, but learning curves, where it's like, we're starting to get it. Where do we separate it? How do we segment it? And what do we do with it now that we have it? So that's something we're still learning.
Yeah. Any tips for those people that might just beginning that data journey of like, hey, we got to figure it out, but here's what we already figured out maybe early on in the process?
Yeah, I would say celebrate progress. So look at numbers that you have for the first time and celebrate those wins. Don't get so caught up on small numbers or big numbers. Just look at the numbers and recognize that all of those numbers represent people. And that's movement in your community. That's movement in your church. And that's exciting. That's worth celebrating. Then start, as time goes on, worry about how you're going to take those numbers, what those numbers mean, what numbers are most important to you, and figure out how you're going to utilize those to make decisions. But don't feel like you have to come out of the gate and be so pressured by the numbers you now receive to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Celebrate what you have.
No, that's really good. And with Apollos, you get custom dashboards, so you guys don't actually have to do any work into that. It's called Amplitude that we give to customers. And so you can begin that journey just measuring the things that are kind of stock and out of the box.
Yep.
And I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Makes it easy because sometimes data can be overwhelming.
Yes, 100%.
So, data's a really good thing to kind of lean into. I love that you shared about prayer and kind of the story of how people are engaging in prayer. What's been the biggest challenge with your staff adopting Apollos?
Honestly, that's not an easy answer. I think we really went through the Apollos process as a staff team. We identified very early on what were some of the struggles we were facing in our digital ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we learned as a staff what are some of the pain points we wanted to solve and allowed Apollos to help us solve those problems. So, tension points or biggest struggles that we've had as a staff team, I want to celebrate the fact that it hasn't felt that way. We haven't felt any of those struggles because we did what probably was a lot of the heavy lifting before we launched Apollos. Before we made that decision, we did discussion meetings and workshops, and we're like, what do we love? What do we hate? What do we wish we had in our digital ecosystem? And learned how to work with Apollos to solve all of those problems. So our teams were very excited about the implementation.
Yeah.
We already had a lot of content that needed distributed. So we had now places to distribute that content and list that content, make it available. So if anything, man, I would say the biggest struggle that we're having as a staff team is our communications team coming alongside of the needs and the wants of our staff at the same pace that they're driving it. What do people want? Where do they want it? And we're like, man, we're still learning. But on the flip side, we're not trying to pull them along and say, here's these new digital ecosystems that are going to solve problems. It's not something we see that they don't. They see it. They want it. And they're kind of pushing us, which I would much rather be in that position any day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and your website is blowing out of the water.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal.
And so your website's been launched for
7 months. Yeah, 6 months, just shy of when we launched our app.
And your engagement in website is through the roof?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, part of the workshops that we did and some of the digital ecosystem clarity that we provided and we leaned all the way into was our decision that our website was going to be strictly for new people checking out Cedar Creek for the first time. And our mobile app was going to be strictly for people who call Cedar Creek home and can find day-to-day information.
Yeah.
And that can be really, really tough because your staff want their information easily accessible
All
to
the
people. But we had multiple teams come together and discern through the process that was really going to be the best outcome. So we took our website from what felt like 70 or 80 pages down to 24. During this process. And it was like, anytime somebody brings to the communications team or the digital platform team and say, we need this content out there, we would ask the response back, is this for somebody checking out Cedar Creek for the first time, off the street, searching it? This is going to help them walk in our door for the first time. Or is this for somebody who just heard a call to action out of the weekend? And if it was call to action out of the weekend, taking your next step, it was mobile app. And if it was, we want somebody who just found us, just walked out their front door and looking for a church, then it was the website. And we continue with that every day. So it takes a lot of the emotion out of it because we have an answer for clarity where things are going to go.
Yeah.
And I really believe that's why we're seeing the results we are, because our focus on the website is to get people in the door. Relationship can build once we're at the door. And then we're going to carry that with information through the app and the community between each other, prayer and groups in the app.
So you talk about like shifting your website strategy there.
Yeah.
Give me a couple examples of stuff that you had to shift.
Oh, man.
Right?
Yeah. Everything. Literally, it felt like everything. When we did a deep dive of our website and the pages, it was like this master spider web of how you could easily get lost on the website and not find your way back.
Sure.
It would be kids content, parents content, student content, adult next steps, groups content. It's like, how did I get here? And is this helpful for the new guests? So an example would be, here's all the curriculum we taught in family ministries this weekend. Videos, handouts. This is our small group leader guide. We would make all of that available to our parents.
Sure.
Which is a great resource. And it gets clicks and it gets used. And we hear from families that they're using that content. But is that what the first-time person needs? And there's the message that we're trying to get to first-time people is getting lost amongst all of that. Once they click on things, they're in this spider web of loops that ultimately detracted them from finding a way in. Now we hear from people, it was very easy how to figure out your address, to pre-register my kids, and know what my next steps were, because that's all that we're focused on is getting them to our church. So a lot of that mess was just deep-rooted curriculum and content for people who already call Cedar Creek home.
That's interesting. I love that. It's a really hard discipline to
Yeah.
go through.
Yeah.
Um,
And again, I'm pleased to say our team recognized a lot of the problems.
yeah.
They may not have all agreed early on where content should be. We had lots of discussions where like, we really should have a page on our website with all of our staff, let's say. That's common in the church community. And it's,
Yeah.
who does that help? It helps people who are already connected potentially, who want to get connected with so-and-so. Put an easy way for them to get connected with your staff on the app. But the website needs to be service times and how to get here. And that's the decision we made. Doesn't have to be the decision everybody makes, but we are seeing results from it. And the people who are coming to our church for the first time are saying it was so easy to figure out how to walk in the door.
Yeah. Well, that's so interesting because I was specifically going to ask you about like the staff page
Yeah.
because it's absent from your website.
Yeah.
And so like that had to be like you guys had to wrestle with that because I think like 99.9% of church
Yes.
websites have some kind of staff page on it, right? And so like you strategically chose not to have a staff page.
Yep.
Why again? You said it, but I just wanted you to say it again.
Yeah. And we did, for clarity, we do have on each of our campus pages, we do have a profile of our campus pastor, their picture,
Sure.
and a bio on who they are. Make sure it's relatable, make sure that a new guest feels comfortable walking in the door and knowing somebody.
Yeah.
But do they need to know everybody on staff? Do they need to know who I am? Do they need to know who, X person is? Probably not. It's probably not helping them take their next step of walking in the front door. What is helping them take a next step in the front door is finding a relatable face, the pastor of the campus.
Yeah.
What are the services we offer? How are we answering some of their felt needs?
Yeah.
And here's directions on how to get here.
That's incredible. And what are the two questions you ask to make that decision?
Yeah. Is this going to help somebody take their next step in showing up at our front door? Or is this a next step out of the weekend? If it's for somebody who's sitting at our campus and finding their next step, then it is on the app. If it's website based, then it's going to be something that helps people find their way in the front door.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good. App decision making is all about someone finding their next step.
Yep. Coming out of the weekend.
Yeah.
We say that this is the easiest place for people to find information and grow closer to Jesus. So that's going to be in our mobile app, whereas our website is really going to be an opportunity for people to walk in our door for the first time.
That's good. And just that level of clarity, so many people miss.
Yeah.
Or it's so hard to get an entire organization there.
And what I tell people too is like, that doesn't have to be your decision.
No.
That doesn't have to be your clarity. But what I would challenge people to do is find their clarity. Find their
Yeah.
clarity in what is each digital platform hired for and run with that. Define what it's being hired for. What problem are you looking to solve with that platform and utilize that? Otherwise, what we had before was just kind of a place to put information, and there was no real reason why we were hiring each different platform across our church.
Sure. No. And thank you for bringing that up. Like, do the thing that God has uniquely called you to do.
Yep.
At Cedar Creek, you decided this is the positioning of the tools that we have available to us.
That's right.
Right. That doesn't mean that translates entirely, right? Even for Apollos, we built plenty of websites with a staff page.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We have plenty of Apollos apps that are out in the wild that have a more extensive, like, hey, we do want the app to be a place where you could land first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And so I do think like the technology is secondary to the mission that God has called you to, and utilize the technology in a way that represents the mission that God has you on. Cedar Creek, you guys have done such a great job at doing that with super crystal clear clarity.
Yeah.
And I know that comes from your senior pastor down. Jason, you've done a fantastic job of leading through that. If a church doesn't have a Jason, what do they need to be successful with Apollos?
And you just need determination and passion. The Apollos team, I consider everybody on the team family and part of the team what I love. is you all feel like an extension of our staff. So like, I'm not any better at this than anybody else. I didn't come into this with any special gifts or talents. This isn't my background, but I'm passionate about leaning in. I'm passionate about learning, and your team has leaned in equally and wants Cedar Creek to win.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm at some advantage than anybody else. We don't have anybody on our team that's super secretly talented and got the secret sauce. We're all just uniquely defined and passionate about the areas that we're responsible for,
Yeah.
and open-handed with that. So your team has leaned in, our team has leaned in, and that's what's creating the solutions that we have.
Yeah, I will. I do appreciate that, but I do want to give credit to Cedar Creek, and you guys have leaned in with clarity, and that is a gift.
And it's not easy either.
No.
It takes lots of grit. So I would say what comes along with clarity is revisiting. Don't be afraid to revisit clarity. There are times that we'll be in a meeting and we will be passionate about this should go back on the website or whatever. And it's like we revisit the clarity, we revisit the vision. We have a little grit, and at the end we're like, yeah, this is where we want to land, and it communicates the values and vision for where we are, and that's why it's successful. So don't be afraid to renegotiate that clarity or revisit it, because it's ultimately going to continue to build values and clarity for you.
So another way to say that would be like let that clarity live out in the open.
Yes.
And I see a lot of churches do this. They'll wrestle with something and then make the decision and like put that decision in the closet and go like, we're never going to touch that again.
Yeah.
And what you just described is like, no, this is out in the open and we're
keeping it alive.
Yeah, we literally are keeping it front and center.
Yes.
And we're not just going, well, we made that decision 10 years ago.
That's right.
So we should,
but new staff don't remember what that was like to make that decision. Even as we grow old or comfortable in our positions, we forget what that was like, let alone new staff who weren't part of that. So by keeping it in the open and rediscussing it and not being afraid of it, it keeps it alive, it keeps it important, and it keeps everybody remembering why.
What percentage of your staff is new post-COVID? You know that?
I wish I knew the stat. I'm sure it's somewhere between 50 and 70% is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Probably less than that, but it feels substantial.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so like, I think that's a fun kind of like box to put around it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us were like, we remember church before.
Yeah.
And
it's different.
It's totally
constantly
different.
Changing.
And the whys and the whats, like you said,
yeah,
they're shaped differently.
Yeah.
And unless we put those decisions out in the open and wrestle with them, we have a whole generation of church staff that will not get the pleasure of having solidarity and the clarity. And I don't know if that's a phrase, solidarity in the clarity. Maybe I'll just start rapping here in a second. We are near Detroit, right?
It's great. Music City.
Yeah. Is it Music City anymore?
It is. It's, Motown for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, no.
No. And
it'll be great.
Yeah. That's good. Good perspective you have. I don't know if I agree with it.
Okay. All right. It's named Motown, right? I think so.
And yeah. That it feels like it's living in the past, is what I would say.
It's alive and well in the Rust Belt.
Okay.
That's the rest of the question.
That's fair. That's fair. Any other words of wisdom you would share today?
I would just my word wisdom would be: don't be afraid to lean in to tough things. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Don't be so uncomfortable in places that you might not know, or things may not come naturally, to be open-handed, because I think a lot of us want each other to win, and we see that together.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And one of the things that I don't think we talk about much, but probably should be talked about, is the community within Apollos.
Yeah.
And so I know that that's a monthly get-together of other Apollos users and customers. And so it really is entering into a group of people that are going, we do want to do it different.
Yep.
but we still want to do it together.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the community as a feature or a function of the app for your church and your attendees, but I do appreciate the community that exists within Apollos. I said that the team at Apollos feels like an extension of our staff. I talk to some of them daily, what feels like, because I'm not in this alone and I don't know any better than anybody else. But the church is on the call. I mean, we'll carry on emails after our monthly calls, learn from each other. And it's not always about Apollos work, but we're leaning in together because we want each other to win, which is really a wonderful experience.
Yeah. No, I love it. It was one of the highlights of that. I didn't expect it as I came in, and then to see it happen, it was just like, man, this is very uniquely special.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's also kind of like this behind the scenes, like, just kind of private thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, we could probably talk about it more.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like Fight Club. If you talk about it, does it exist?
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the same.
Yeah.
It's a terrible analogy.
It's hilarious.
But it is one of those really great things. And so, yeah, I appreciate you being a part of that. If someone has a question for you beyond what they've seen today, where would they find you?
Yeah, I mean, reach out. You can reach out by email or Rocket Chat in the Rock community. Also, you can reach out to anybody at Apollos and they can get you connected.
Yeah, great. No TikTok? No?
I'm very rarely on any social platform.
Okay.
I'm there, but I'm not ever actually there.
Okay. What is Jason's guilty pleasure? We'll end with this.
Oh, man. Like activity? Man, I love getting the opportunity every summer to go whitewater rafting or kayaking, mountain biking. I love getting outside.
Great.
Yeah.
So where would you do that next?
I would probably West Virginia would be my first booking of the year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. There's a song about that, right? West Virginia?
Oh, yeah, somewhere. I don't know the song, though.
I don't know it either. Anyways, hey, thank you guys for joining us today. Look forward to seeing you next episode of Apollos. Have a great day. Thanks.